Hello, and ever since the very first major press conference in the Delphi case back in 2017, authorities have told the public that they believe that the person who committed the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German on February 13th, 2017 were from Delphi or visited the Delphi area on a regular basis. Since we've had the arrest of Richard Allen, I've been repeatedly asking myself one question. And I've been wanting to make this video for a while. And that question is, how did no one identify Richard Allen sooner in such a small town if they truly believed that he was from Delphi? The killer, that is. So I did some research myself today, and here's what I found out. First, I want to let you listen to this.
We likely have interviewed you or someone close to you.
We've likely interviewed you or someone close to you. But here's another thing that stands out to me.
What will those closest to you think of when they find out that you brutally murdered two little girls? Two children. Only a coward would do such a thing. We are confident that you have told someone what you have done. Or at the very least, they know because of how different you are since the murders.
It's just chilling to hear those things in hindsight. Because even in this press conference here, he strongly implies that he believes this is somebody that has a family right there in town in Delphi. And if the prosecution winds up being right, that's the case. But I digress. Back to my Delphi information here. So there are roughly 2,980 people who live in Delphi, Indiana. Okay? So follow along here. If you look between ages 30 and age 50, which I added up, there are 487 males in the city of Delphi between the ages of 30 and 50. And so I ask myself, how long would it have taken over the past 6 years for investigators to have interviewed every male person between the ages of 30 and 50 over a 6-year period? Given that they had between 20 and 30 investigators between the FBI and Delphi actively working on this case. If they truly believed that this person was from Delphi, why weren't they knocking on the door of every single male that lived in that town between that age range and interviewing them and getting their story documented? This isn't a criticism of law enforcement, but it's a legitimate question I have. How long would that have taken? And you say, well, they put out the second sketch that showed that he was younger. Okay, fine. This shows that there are actually only, if you can believe this, roughly 80 people, and that seems a little low to me, but let's say between 80 and 100 people between age 20 and 30 that permanently reside in Delphi, Indiana. So that would up the number to maybe 550, 600 people. So based on what you know about people that day, vetting alibis, etc., I find it extremely hard to believe that they couldn't have gone and just gone through a process of elimination of everybody that was male in their age and demographic group in Delphi, Indiana, white male, etc. It just kind of blows my mind that he would speak to a Department of Natural Resources officer, and then they don't interview him again until October of 2022. Everything that law enforcement and the FBI said was spot on, that the person was hiding in plain sight, if in fact Richard Allen is the person who committed this crime. Again, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So, I want to credit law enforcement, but you know, nobody who was a neighbor of his thought he might have at least been worth mentioning. None of the family members. I just don't know. I would think that over, you know, let's do some math here. And I'm not accounting for leap year here, so 365 times basically 6 years. Granted, it hasn't been quite 6 years yet, but you know, you're looking at over 2,100 days. 2,100 days, you would have had to interview roughly 500 to 600 male individuals in that age range in Delphi and get their story on paper. I know that's not how traditionally law enforcement does things. They don't necessarily just brute force go after every subject and interview every subject that fits their little circle. But in this case, based on the profile they made, that may have been the most prudent way to do things, honestly. The fact that law enforcement in that second press conference was so confident that this was somebody from Delphi just even speaks to that even more. So I don't want to make this video much longer or draw it out anymore. Again, just let me know what you think. If you like the videos, I know it's just a simple podcast format now. Feel free to hit the like button. Again, I just keep going back to that Doug Carter statement in the beginning of the video here. We've likely interviewed you or someone close to you, and then what will your family members think? It just makes me wonder, did law enforcement possibly know more or suspect more about Richard Allen early on? Or was that just kind of a script that was sort of given to them based on their work with FBI profilers? Because if that's the case, the FBI profilers, their assessment of this was pretty much spot on, that the person would be right underneath their nose if in fact Allen is the killer. So again, let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know if you're surprised that it took this long to identify Richard Allen in such a small town there. Thanks for watching, everybody.